What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, the All-Star game is not too far away. I should say the All-Star event is not too far away now. And ultimately, there's a lot of hype and there's a lot of advertisements now about selecting your All-Stars, selecting everybody to kind of participate in this event. And we already have a Chicago Bulls player that's entering one of the events, which I'm very, very happy about, by the way. I guess this video is going to be discussing about who I think should be all-stars for the Chicago Bulls and who I guess should be participating in these events for the NBA and the All-Star game and the All-Star events and whatnot and just everything in between. So that's kind of what this video is going to be about. Mainly it's going to be about the All-Star game. Who I think from this Chicago Bulls team is an all-star. Who deserves to be in there. Who will miss out. All these things. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. But before we get any further, if you enjoyed the video and you want to see more from me, feel free to drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about these Chicago Bulls. And what do you think about, I guess, the All-Star event, obviously, for the Bulls. I mean, again, it's the All-Star game. That's mainly what people focus about. And to be honest, the All-Star event, in my opinion, has lost a lot of highlight factor for me personally. It's one of those events where I think even 5 years ago when I started the channel, I was very excited about. But I think as time goes on, just because of how lack of competitive it really is, it just hurts to kind of watch the All-Star game. It's almost like a slap in the face to basketball fans. That's how I view it, at least. I know it's a special night where all the celebrities can come out and, you know, the dunk contest is still a nice thing and the three-point contest is still great and you're getting to see the rookies kind of show out. The rookies actually come out and play competitive basketball, which is always a decent thing, and it's probably my favorite thing to watch in the game, in the event itself. So there's a lot to like about the All-Star event, but there's the big thing to not like as well. Anyway, I want to congratulate Matas Buzelis for being, I guess, a participant in the dunk contest. We know how athletic he is. We're Chicago Bulls fans. We watch Matas Buzelis game in and game out. So we know the athleticism is there. We know he can pull out some great dunk packages. And I think, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a shoe-in to win the competition, but I think he could really put on a show in this type of environment. He seems like the type of guy that would thrive in a dunk contest, to be honest. I'm very excited to see what he could produce. And ultimately, again, it's just for fun. Even if he loses, it's not the end of the world, guys. But it's nice to have at least a Chicago Bulls representation already in the All-Star event. So people from the Bulls are going to tune in now. And that's all I really want from the All-Star weekend, is just people tuning in and watching it and having Bulls players represent them. And so far, Matas Buzelis has already done that. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, as long as he stays healthy, Matas Buzelis should be competing in the rookie games. I'm not necessarily sure how the setup is this year compared to previous years. Maybe it is the, I guess, USA versus the World versus the G League like it was last season or something along those lines. Matas Buzelis will probably participate in that. I'd be stunned if he didn't. And I'm excited to see if that is an area where he can thrive in as well. All right. Enough being said about that. You know, the rookie game and the dunk contest, we have representation there. At least we should have representation in both of those areas. So Bulls fans should already feel happy with where this is going. Now, I actually think we do have a very good shout for the three-point contest as well. Now, you might be thinking it's Coby White. Not this season, it isn't. For me, it's Zach LaVine. I think Zach LaVine should be a shoo-in to be a participant in the three-point contest. Now, let's quickly take a look at his three-point percentage, but I know it's already above 40%, and that in of itself should give Zach LaVine an opportunity to participate. But this season for the Chicago Bulls, his three-point percentage is 45%. I think that's one of the highest in the league. He's taking them on very good attempts as well. To me, it's an absolute disaster if we do not see Zach LaVine enter the three-point contest. The only fathomable reason I can accept for not seeing Zach LaVine there is if, simply put, he says no. And I don't see anyone saying no to the three-point contest. He said no to the dunk contest, but the dunk contest is a little bit more grueling. Maybe it's a little bit more of a youngest man game compared to Zach LaVine. He's getting up there in age now. He doesn't need to show off his dunks anymore. You know, the guy's got it. We know that. He's won dunk contests. We know that. But three-point shooting, I think he should be in it. I think he should be participating. And who knows? Maybe one of these days we'll see a Bulls player win one of them. And maybe that is Zach LaVine. So that's nice. That's all good. In terms of the skills game, I don't really know. Who would the... I mean, maybe Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey's definitely a well-rounded player. He's a triple-double threat on most nights, grabs good rebounds. He's been shooting the 3-ball a little bit better this season. Can definitely play make. Maybe it would be him. You could put Lonzo in there. Ultimately, I don't necessarily think we'll get representation in the skills challenge or anything like that. But again, if we do, fantastic. I just think if we were to have that, maybe Vucevic could be a shout for this as well. For a passing big man, he has been very good this season as well. But ultimately, I don't think we're going to have representation in the skills game. So we can move on from that as well. It's time to get to the big event. I mean, that's not maybe the celebrity event is what you guys are tuning in for, but there will be probably no Bulls representation there. We're talking about the All-Star game. Basically, who's going to be an All-Star for the Chicago Bulls? Is there anyone truly deserving of it? Well, I think there are two players that have a conversation at least. Number one is Zach LaVine. Now, the reason why I'm saying Zach LaVine could be an All-Star is that if you look at the previous time he was an All-Star, you look at the stats compared to the stats he has this season, they are very identical. Around 24 points per game, around 4.5 assists, shooting over 40% from the three-point line. It's very, very, very identical. You could say this is Zach LaVine's best season in a long time, and there's every right to say that. And you know what? I think the numbers that he's putting up is deserving of All-Star numbers. Is deserving of being an All-Star. I'm not going to say he's an All-Star starter. That's a little bit crazy. But I think he could get an opportunity off the bench. I really, really believe that. And I think he would be deserving of it, in all honesty, as well. He's helped us win some big games. He went on an incredible run of 30-plus point games last month. It's still January, so earlier this month. He's been unbelievable in that regard, and I think he deserves it. And I would be very upset if Zach LaVine is not an All-Star. So that's one. The second one is Nikola Vucevic. You might be saying, why is Nikola Vucevic considered an All-Star candidate for me? Well, he's a 20 and 10 averager this season. I think he's averaging 20 points and like 10 rebounds or something along those lines, which is not bad whatsoever. In fact, that's probably his best season in a Chicago Bulls uniform. He's averaging 3.4 assists. His efficiency as well has been super solid this season. Taking a look at his efficiency from three, it's about, wow, he's shooting 55% from three this season. No, that can't be right. No, he's shooting 55% from the field. His three-point shooting is 41%, which is not bad in of itself either. So, instantly, that is a big shout to me. But he's a center. And I think centers should get a little bit more for consideration. But I know they kind of switched it up a little bit where centers don't necessarily have to be its own priority. I guess you could pick a forward as a center and stuff like that because we are going more positionalist. And for that reason alone, I think Vucevic will not be an All-Star this season. It's because it's not just centers anymore. And if it was, I would really think Vucevic should be in the conversation at least. He probably won't get in, but he should be in the conversation. But now that it's kind of a forwards and centers instead of just centers, I think that does technically rule him out in my opinion. But if Vucevic is an All-Star, I wouldn't be surprised. But I do think we're only going to get one, and I think it should be Zach LaVine. The reason why I think we'll only get one All-Star is because very few teams get two All-Stars in the same year when we're as bad as we are right now. I think we're still 10th in the Eastern Conference, and normally you don't get two All-Stars when you're 10th in the Eastern Conference. So I think teams and coaches and anybody that's voting will take that into consideration. A team that's 19 and 25 should not be getting two All-Stars in there. So if I had to pick between Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic, the rightful All-Star in my eyes is going to be Zach LaVine. And I hope he gets in because all this talk, all this trade talk, all of this stuff, whether you want him to go or not, you know, it's definitely a hard conversation. But if you put Zach LaVine in an All-Star game, that means the world will take notice. And that may mean other NBA teams take notice. But it also means Chicago Bulls fans can stop saying how bad he is. Because he's not bad. He's not had a bad season at all. And it would be nice to have a representation of the Chicago Bulls in there. And Zach LaVine, I think, is the best candidate for that. He's had the best season. It's not even close. I'm very disappointed with other guys in this team. And, you know, Kobe White was nearly an All-Star last season. He's going to be nowhere near it this season. So I'm disappointed in that regard. But as of now, Zach LaVine is our best player and should be in the All-Star game. I fully believe it in my heart. But do you agree? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care. And peace.